Started, guys. Let's go. So, like I mentioned today, to be good at maths, and obviously maths, you need to know these four topics, right? Today, we're going to be starting with topic one, simultaneous equations. So everyone take down this topic, right? Now, my assumption here is that everyone here has met simultaneous equations in school. And my mission here is most people, even though they did it in school, right? They usually don't understand it properly, or they could do it, but they can't do it fast enough. Before we ask, I know a lot of people are going to ask this question, so I'm going to answer it one time. There are more than one ways to solve a simultaneous equation. So I have about 5 different ways. And the number one question is, which method am I going to teach for the summer? I'm going to be teaching the substitution method. Why? The substitution method is probably what students consider the hardest method to solve a simultaneous equation. But believe me, it's the most powerful method. If I have to learn one method to solve simultaneous equations and I was given the time only to choose one, I would only learn the substitution method, as it's the most powerful and it could work for any kind of simultaneous equation. So without further ado, turn to a brand new page and write simultaneous equations big to the top, because that's the topic we're doing today. Now, my aim for the summer, well, today's class, is not only to teach you to do simultaneous equations, but I want you to be able to do it fast in under 5 minutes. And that's a challenge by itself, right? So take down today's topic, simultaneous equation, and let's move to the next slide, right? Everyone should have it down by now. Now, some advice. Simultaneous equations, you're going to be solving for letters. Most likely, it's going to be X and Y. And you need to know your basic algebra skills, right? Let me give you a little sample question here. Let's say that in the exam, you have this equation, 2x plus 3y is equal to 11, right? Everyone take down that for me. Just it's a simple linear equation. It has two letters in it, x and y, and they're both added and equal to 11, right? I just want to show you something here real simple. I'll call it life-saving advice. Now, let's say you open your exam paper and you see that question, and you have a choice. That's right, you're given a choice. You're not given orders, you're given a choice. You can either make X the subject, or you can make Y the subject. In other words, you could get X alone on one side, or you could get Y alone on one side. Now, the general thing in maths is that when you throw something across the equal sign, it becomes the opposite. So let's just say, right, that I decided to make X the subject, right? Notice the value touching X, 2. Now that 2 is a secret multiply. Whenever you have a value and a number and a letter touching, there's always a secret multiply in it. I'll be covering this in more detail in the Saturday class, right? But just I'm going to assume everyone has a basic understanding from this point. If I want to make X the subject, the first person I have to throw across is the positive 3y. Now, when you throw across positive 3y, you're going to get minus 3y, because when you throw something across, you end up divided. Now, we want to make X the subject. Now, the next person I have to throw across is the 2. The 2 is a secret multiply. You have 2 items waiting on this side. Now, you can't subtract 11 and 3y, because 11 has no letter and the 3 has a letter y. In maths, you can't subtract a letter from a non-letter, okay? So what you're going to have to do is throw across this 2, and you see the number that's touching the X. you divide everyone by that number, right? We're making X the subject for those who join a little bit late. Do me a favor. Take 11 and divide it by 2 on your calculator, and take 3 and divide it by 2 on your calculator. And finish this question for me and send the answer on the chat, right? Once again, if you now join class, my assumption here is that you know some algebra decent enough, right? If you're not familiar with algebra, make sure and come Saturday class to the beginners maths class. You'll notice something cool, meaning that when you take 11 and divide it by 2, you get a nice decimal, right? You get 5.5. That's a nice decimal. And when you take 3 and divide it by 2, you get a nice decimal, 1.5. Now, in maths, these are easy numbers to deal with. In maths, whenever you're given choices, you want to make choices that make the maths easier. You see, when you divide by these numbers, like 2, 4, 5, right? And 8, you just usually get very nice, easy decimals to deal with. So 2 dividing by 2, 4, 5, and 8 is usually a good thing in maths. So what would happen if somebody else, like say if somebody now joined class, and I give them the option of making X the subject and or Y the subject, and they say, all right, I'm going to make Y the subject. What's going to happen in this case is that you're going to end up throwing across the 2x first. So you have 3y, you have 11 here, you throw across the positive 2x, you get minus 2x. And then you have to throw across the 3, right? Which means you have to divide everyone here by 3. Do me a favor now. Divide 11 by 3 and 2 by 3 on your calculator and tell me if you ended up getting nice values or are you getting scary values. 11 divided by 3, do it there. I know some of you might be able to do it in your head, but take your calculator out and do it. And you're getting 3.6666666, some crazy reoccurring thing here, and you're getting 0.666666666. No, do you really want to deal with those values throughout the whole question? The answer is no, right? So whenever I am given a choice of making something the subject, like X or Y, I will choose X in this case. Why? Because X has one of the good numbers touching it. 2, 4, 5, and 8 are good numbers. I would never choose Y in this case because the number touching Y is 3, and these are the bad numbers, or what I call the evil numbers. Everyone just take down this note here in the little comic bubble. Try to always avoid dividing by 3, 6, 7, or 9. You only divide by those if you have no choice, like no choice, right? Right. So when you're given the X and Y questions today, ask yourself which letter has the nice number or the nicer number. And always, if X has the nicer number touching it, make that one the subject. If Y happens to have the nicer number, make that one the subject. If both of them have nice numbers, choose anyone to make the subject. But in a case like that, I always choose X, right? So let's move on, right? That's advice for the whole of maths, from now till you're dead. Whether you go to university and they always choose the one with the nicer number, always. All right, let's go, right? So try to avoid dividing by 3, 6, 7, and 9. Let's get to our first simultaneous equation question. For those who may not have seen a simultaneous equation yet, in a simultaneous equation, they just always give you 2 equations. Look at it. One two equations. And it is always labeled equation 1 and equation 2. The aim of a simultaneous equation is to find the value of x and to find the value of y. You have two missions to find the value of x and y. Do me a favor, do this step by step. Do not take down everything on the screen. I will tell you what to take down. Everyone take down this alone, what I have just circled. Only take that down. And when you finish, raise your hands, right? Only take that down, nothing else, right? As I mentioned, a simultaneous equation has two equations, equation 1 and equation 2. The truth is, it doesn't really matter which equation you want to deal with first. Some teachers, remember, it come like you have two things to eat. Let me say you have a roti and a sweet drink. You don't throw the two of them in your mouth at the same time, unless you're real greedy, right? You either eat the roti or you drink the sweet drink, right? It doesn't matter which one you do first. So some teachers will tell you, hey, deal with equation 1 first. Focus on equation 1 first. Other teachers will say, hey, choose equation 2 first. The truth is, it really doesn't matter. The working would look different, but believe me, the answers at the end of the day will be the same. It's like magic. Now, I'm a fan of always choosing equation 1 first. Now, I don't have to, but I'm a fan of that. So I want everyone to put a dot by equation 1. Make sure you label it 1 and 2. The dot means we're going to choose equation 1 first and take down this note here. I decided to choose equation 1 and make x the subject. Did I make the correct choice? Should I make x the subject or y the subject? You see, when you choose equation 1, you have a choice. The truth is, it doesn't matter if you make x the subject or if you make y the subject. But you notice y has a bad number attached to it. Remember, 6 is one of the bad numbers. X has a 4 attached to it. That is one of the good numbers. So that is why I said, choose equation 1 and make x the subject. So here's what I'm going to do below, right? I'm going to write, since we're focusing on equation 1 only at the moment, I want everyone to write equation 1 down here. Don't change anything. You're writing back equation 1 as it is. I didn't change anything. It's 4x plus 6y over 40. And I want you to put a little dot over the x. That's to remind yourself that, hey, we're going to make x the subject. And why? I mean, what, WHY? Why are we making x the subject? Because x has the good number next to it. And because he has a good number next to him, when we make x the subject, we will end up with nice numbers. We don't want scary numbers. So take down this line. The first question I'm going to do super slow, as you realize, right? Super slow. Right. So we're going to focus on making y the subject, on x the subject, sorry. We're going to take positive 6y and throw him across. And when you throw across positive 6y, what you're going to get? Minus 6y. Everyone take down up to there. We throw across the positive 6y and you get minus 6y. Usually when you throw something across in maths, like when you throw it across the equal sign, it becomes the opposite. So the opposite of positive 6y is obviously minus 6y. But we still have to make who the subject? Mr. X. We have this annoying 4. Whatever value is touching a letter, when you throw it across, it has always become a divide. It's a pattern you're going to recognize. So this 4, when you throw it across, everyone gets divided by 4, right? Simplify this. Both of them get divided by the 4. 40 divided by 4 is 10. 6 divided by 4 is 1.5. And don't forget to put back the letter y. You see, we end up with nice values. 10 and 1.5 by mathematical standards is real nice, easy values to deal with. Everyone take down up to there. Now, this is very important. You see, when you finally make x the subject in this line here, remember how you had an equation 1 and you had an equation 2? This equation where we made x the subject, label it. Here is equation 3. And hear me now. Equation 3 is the most important equation. If you make equation 3 wrong, the whole question falls apart. So he's Mr. Important. Label it equation 3, label it. So anytime I say equation 3, I'm talking about x is equal to 10 minus 1.5y. Now don't lose focus. The aim of the question is to find the value of x and to find the value of y. Take down this instructions in blue immediately below. Substitute equation 3 into equation 2 using brackets. Just take down the instructions and I will explain what that means for those who are not too familiar with it. Right? Take down the instructions in blue directly below. So let's read those instructions again. In blue, it says substitute equation 3 into equation 2 using brackets. Now, what does that mean? Let me explain what x equal to 10 minus 1.5 mean. Anytime you see an equal sign in maths, you know what that really means? Everything on the left-hand side basically has the same value as everything on the right-hand side. It's like this. I know x and 10 minus 1.5y looks different. But think about it. In real life, it have plenty things that look different but have equal value. Let's say one day you're walking down the road with a $1 in your hand, a red $1. And I grab that $1 and replace it with 4.25 cents. Technically, you might be mad, but then I might explain myself. Technically, I didn't rob you, you know, because 4.25 cents is the same thing as a dollar. So what you're complaining about? They look different, but they have the same value. You see what I did? I took the $1 and substituted it, replaced it with something looking different, 4.25 cents, but it have the same value. In maths, it's the same concept. Anytime you have two things that are equal in value, it's okay to throw away it and replace it with something looking different if it has the same value. So here's what we're going to do. We used equation 1 already. We made an equation 3. We're going to substitute equation 3 into equation 2. You always go to the equation we didn't use as yet. Now, if you look carefully at equation 2, it says 5x plus 3y is equal to 41. You notice equation 2 has an x here. How about this? Isn't x the same thing as 10 minus 1.5y? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to go to equation 2, and you see this x here? We're going to kick him out. We're going to say, get out, Mr. X. We don't like you anymore. And we're going to replace it with 10 minus 1.5y. And nobody's supposed to complain because x and 10 minus 1.5y is the same thing. It has the same value, just like the $1. and for 25 cents. But in maths, it have a little rule. Anytime you kick out someone and you replace them with something, you have to replace it in brackets. You have to put brackets to show that you replaced it. And that's not something only for this topic. That's for every topic in maths, from now till you're dead, till you finish university and well, whatever, however far you reach in life, right? So keep your eyes over here, right? Keep your eyes over there. Look at this now. I'm going to write back. I'm going to kick out this X. 5, and who used to be touching the X here? The 5 here. Who used to be touching him there? Any X? But I'm kicking out the X. Look at him. And I'm going to put what? 10 minus 1.5y. You notice I put the brackets, and then I write back the 3y, the equal, and the 41. Everyone take down that line now, right? I replaced the X with 10 minus 1.5y. And in maths, when you replace something, you have to what? Use brackets. We're going to do plenty examples today, guys. So this is just the first example. If you never understood simultaneous equations, it will take about 4 examples before it really falls into place. Nobody really catches it on the first try. Nobody. I've never met anybody catch it on the first try, right? You must be scratching your heads a little bit. All right. So here's what you're going to do now. In maths, whenever you have brackets and something outside, you need to multiply out the brackets. So we're going to get rid of these brackets. We're going to multiply everyone in these brackets by the value outside, 5. So let's do that. Let's multiply. Oh, sorry, take down this note. This note really means we're going to get rid of the brackets and solve for y. You notice your equation doesn't have the letter x anymore. This entire equation only has one type of letter in it. The only letter in front of us now is the letter y, right? There's no more x's to bother us. So if we solve this equation using basic algebra, we would have solved for y. Remember, the aim of the question is to find the value of x and find the value of y, right? So let's expand these brackets. I'm going to multiply everyone inside here by 5. 5 by 10 is what? 50. I need my calculator for the other one. 5 multiplied by 1.5. For some reason, I can't do that in my head. You get 7.5y. The brackets disappear because we multiplied everyone inside here by 5. Once again, 5 by 10 is 50. 5 multiplied by 1.5 is 7.5. Don't forget to put back your minus sign and your y. Now write back the positive 3y and the 41. Everyone take them up to there. Now, for those who can't add and subtract positive and negative numbers, feel free to use a calculator or come the Saturday class where we are going to show you how to add and subtract the positive and negative numbers. Remember, the Saturday class is starting back from basics, form 1 work, go up, right? Algebra. So we're going to solve for y now. So we want to keep all the y's on one side and everyone else on the other side. So we throw across positive 50, we'll get minus 50 on the other side. So we have minus 7.5 plus 3y is equal to 41. And when we throw across the positive 50, we get minus 50. Once again, if you're not too familiar with throwing things across on basic algebra, still take down the steps, right? You'll eventually get accustomed to it. Right? So let's simplify this side here. And let's simplify this side. Just using your calculators. How much is minus 7.5y plus 3y? Right? Minus 7.5 plus 3 is minus 4.5y. And 41 minus 50. You do it on a calculator, even though you're seeing me do it. Get accustomed doing it on a calculator, right? So you see it for yourself. 41 minus 50 is minus 9. Take down up to there. We're almost finished solving for y. We almost finished. And now we want to finally solve for y. This minus 4.5 is touching the y. So when you throw it across, you get a divide. Minus 9 divided by minus 4.5 is positive 2. We're basically 90% finished with the question. Remember, the aim of the question is to solve for x and to solve for y. I just solved for y. If somebody were to ask me, hey, sir, what's the value of y? I could answer them properly. I could say, hey, y is 2. We just have to find for what now? X, right? You have to find for x now. So everyone take down up to there. And when you're finished, take down this note here. Take it down and I'll explain what it means. Almost finished with the question, guys. Almost recorded. So my mistake, I didn't put on the recording, right? We run back to equation 3 and remember y used to be here, right? Remember the equation was this. So what we did, we threw away the y that was here and we replaced it with the value of y, which is 2. 1.5 multiplied by 2 is 3. 10 minus 3 is 7. X is equal to 7. That's an equation question. Everyone take down this question. Now, I'm going to give you all a try on it. Now, here's the thing. I know some of you are saying, but sir, I'm not ready to do a simultaneous equation by myself. Do me a favor. It doesn't matter if you fail. It doesn't matter if you get it wrong. I just need you to kind of try a start. So when I jump in to explain, it will be much easier for you to pick up. Now, in this question, I gave you the instructions. You're going to choose equation 1 again, and you're going to start off with making who the subject? X. And see how far you can reach on your own. Like I said, I don't care if you get it wrong. I just need you to try. Okay? I've given you a 2 minutes head start. Please don't fold your arms and say, I'm not going to do anything until Sir start. Give it a try, right? Give it a try. If you want to do it on scrap, so you don't make it your notebook look untidy because you might not know what you're doing as yet, do it on scrap paper, all right? Good luck. And in 2 minutes, I'm going to jump in to try to, work out the question. Now, so according to my notes here, we said we were going to choose equation 1 and make x the subject. Now, both x and y have nice values touching it. 2 is a nice value, 4 is a nice value, right? But I'm going to make x the subject. So we're going to write back equation 1, not changing anything. 2x plus 4y is equal to 26. I ain't changed nothing about equation 1. And according to my instructions, I'm going to make x the subject. So I'm going to throw across who first? Positive 4y. And we're going to get minus 4y. So I hope that everyone has this. 2x is equal to 26 minus 4y. Right? A lot of you all probably forgot to change the sign because it's positive on this side. And when you kick him across, it becomes the opposite, minus 4y. But we're not finished making x the subject. Still have to get rid of Mr. 2. Now, whenever you throw across the value touching the letter, in this case here, the letter is x. If you look at all the examples we did so far, this value ends up being a divide. You divide both of them by that value. Both of them, not one of them. Just try to follow the format I gave you. 26 divided by 2. Remember, we're dividing by nice values. 2 is the best value in the world, right? 26 divided by 2 is 13. And 4 divided by 2 is 2. And don't forget Mr. Y. This is who? Mr. Equation 3. How much of you all have this equation 3 exactly correct? I mean, value for value. Sign for sign. You made no mistakes. You have 13 minus 2y. If you have positive 2y, it's wrong, eh? Completely wrong. Raise your hands if you have up to there. Right? I'm giving you more time to complete it. I'm trying to push you piece by piece, like training wheels, right? So if you didn't get up to there, look for your mistakes, take down what I gave you, and continue. See how much you can remember. 2 more minutes. So we finally made our equation 3. Which equation we didn't use as yet? And we didn't do nothing with equation 2. So we're going to take equation 3 and run to equation 2. And what are we going to do? Yeah, be careful with these signs. Huh? Wherever you see the letter X, we're going to throw away this X and a circle in it, and we're going to replace it with 13 minus 2y, because X is the same thing like 13 minus 2y, like how $1 is equal to 4.25. Now, a lot of people, based on the answers they're sending, you're forgetting it have a huge minus sign there. That's minus 3. You just can't throw away the minus sign like it's not important. That minus sign belongs to the 3. That's his property, right? So you can't throw him away. Just letting you know. So, minus 3. Look, I have the brackets just like the last question here. I'm going to throw away the x and replace them with 13 minus 2y. And I'm going to write back I'm going to write back the 1 here. Remember, the y has an automatic 1 in front. When a letter doesn't have a number, you have to put in the 1, right? Equal to minus 4. Let's take our time and multiply every one in the brackets, just like last time, by the value outside. What value is outside? Minus 3. Now, some of y'all might not be familiar with how to multiply negatives and positives. You can just use your calculator to help you. Minus 3 multiplied by 13 is minus 39, I guarantee you. Minus 3 multiplied by minus 2y. When you multiply 2 minus, you get a positive. So you get positive 6y. And then you put your positive 1y, that's this guy, is equal to minus 4. I hope you have at least up to there. Take 2 minutes. Continue from that point. If you made mistakes, just dust it off, right? Get up, dust off the dust, and say, all right, I see why I made my mistake. See if you can take it from there. Solve for y now. Get y on one side, everyone else on the other side. 2 minutes. So it's coming up. So we want to solve for y. So we're going to take this minus 39 and throw it across. So you have positive 6y plus 1y. You have minus 4 here. We're about to throw across the minus 39 to get positive 39. 6 plus 1 is 7. So that's 7y. And minus 4 plus 39 is 35. If you, like I said, if you're having problems with adding and subtracting positive and negative numbers, just use the calculator, right? But remember, if you're going into Form 3 and above, you're supposed to have mastered those things in school already, right? We want to solve for y. This 7 is a multiply. Well, when you throw across the 7, it becomes a divide. How much is 30? Wait, is 7 5? Oh God, I use my calculator here for some reason. 35 divided by 7 is 5. Hey, we almost finished. We just solved for y. I'll put a little smiley face here. Yep. We just solved for y. Y is equal to 5. But you're not finished. You still need to solve for x. So remember, see if you can look back in the notes. I even have the same instructions here. Run back to equation 3 now. That's this guy here. Throw away this y here. That's touching the 2. And in brackets, put what? 5. Because we now know y is 5. So throw away Mr. Y and put 5. And work it out, and then you will have the answer for x. And then you finish. I'm going to erase the y here, right? erase him, and in brackets put what? 5. Remember, y used to live here. Poor y got kicked out and replaced with his real value, 5. Multiply the 2 and the 5, because when you have two things separated by brackets, it's a secret multiply. 2 by 5 is 10. So x is equal to 13 minus 10. So x is what? 3. 13 minus 10 is 3. We're finished with the question. You could go out in the world now and shout out, x is 3, y is 5. And then somebody will tell you, well, they'll probably call St. Anne's for you. Right? It will get easier, guys. It will get easier. Right? We have plenty. Sometimes when I run that simulation, one side ends up like clearing out the other side. So today we have a good kind of even battle, I believe. I know some of you are watching this and like, oh no, we have a decimal, right? Don't let it bug you. You are still choosing equation 1 and you're making x the subject. 7 is a horrible value. Do me a favor, stick to your guns, right? Choose equation 1 and make x the subject. There's nothing wrong with dividing by a decimal. In fact, when you have to divide something by a decimal, use your calculator. Your calculator will do all the hard work. And in case you're wondering, minus x plus y, it have no numbers. It's really minus 1x and 1y. No examiner will put in that 1 for you. You have to physically put in that. So guys, don't get intimidated. Follow my instructions. Choose equation 1 and make x the subject as usual. You'll end up dividing by 0.5. Nothing is wrong with that. In fact, whenever you divide by 0.5 or a half, you just get around nice values. Just try. I don't care about you getting it wrong. I only care about you genuinely trying. Okay? 2 minutes head start before I jump into assist. I know some of you all are still intimidated by that decimal, right? I'm going to show you how easy it is. I'm going to write back equation 1. Not going to change a single thing. 0.5x plus 7y is equal to 8. You ain't change nothing. Huh? I'm making who the subject? X. Throw across the positive 7y, you get minus 7y. I'm going to assume that everyone has up to there. So you have 8 minus 7y. We still have to throw across the 0.5, right? So the person touching the x, when we throw them across, they always become a divide. So you get 8 divided by 0.5 and 7 divided by 0.5. If you take on your calculator, I know this looks, how you saying, not too common. Like you don't already see a decimal. You're not accustomed dividing by a decimal. You didn't grow up doing that, but your calculator can handle it easy. Type this in, 8, press the 8 first, and then divide it by 0.5. You'll get 16. 7 divided by 0.5 is 14, and don't forget the y. This here is equation 3. Run to equation 2 now. And wherever you see an x, look at here, throw it away and replace it with 16 minus 14y. Right? So don't forget, the thing touching x is 1 and the thing touching y is 1. Right? Good luck. Take it from there. Right? If you make a mistake, so what? So what if you make a mistake? Once you can see what your mistake is and you understand, keep pressing forward. Now, so this x here, right? We're going to throw away that x and put what? The 16 minus 14y. Right? Remember the x used to live here, replacing them with that. So in maths, we're going to take our time now and expand these brackets. In other words, get rid of the brackets So we're going to multiply every one inside this brackets by -1. 1 and -1 is different. -1 multiplied by 16 is -16. And -1 multiplied by -14 is +14. And don't forget to put back the positive. 1y is equal to -6. Keep all the y's on one side and everyone else on the other side. -16. Make sure and throw it across and you'll get what? +16. When you throw across -16, you get +16. Right. I'm going to help you, give you a little jump start here. Simplify this and simplify this. Right? And you should be able to get the value of y. And once you get the value of y, run back to equation 3, your most important equation, and finally solve for x. Take it from there. Answers are coming up. I try my best to go through all the messages and questions, but you can imagine how much it have on my end, right? I have like literally 500 plus messages. I can't keep up, to be honest. But let's see what we can do here. 14y plus 1y is 15y. -6 plus 16 is 10. So when we solve for y here now, we're going to get 10 divided by 15. I think something odd is going to happen here. I'm glad we reached this. 10 divided by 15. How much people got this, right? When you took 10 and divided it by 15, you get 0.6666666. How much of, raise your hands if you got that. Right? Now, here's the thing, right? I know we're going to get a crazy decimal, but that's in all the other questions. When we solved for y, we got a nice whole number. Sometimes when you solve a simultaneous equation, right, you don't get nice numbers. Now, here's my advice. Whenever you get a recurring decimal or a crazy decimal for your answer, don't use the decimal. And we know 10 over 5 is the same thing as 2/3 or 0.666. I know this is just advice to keep the examiner happy, right? Whenever you get a crazy, crazy answer, use the fraction as your final answer. Don't state the crazy decimal. Nobody likes to see crazy decimals. So my answer for y, when I take the 10 and divide it by 15, if you reduce this just like in primary school, you're going to get 2/3. So if anybody were to ask me, what's the value of y? I would say 2/3. I would not say 0.66666 or try to round it off and whatnot. People generally have a kind of hatred for that. And you want to keep the person who's correcting your paper happy, right? So put 2/3. We still have to solve for x, okay? So I'm just going to show you what to do now. We still have to run to equation 3, right? I'm running out of space here. That's all. I'm going to clear some space for myself here to show you all how to handle this. All right. Make it sure it looks neat. All right. So here's what we're going to do. You're going to what? Go to equation 3. Look at our y here. We erase the y as usual, and we're going to put what in its place? 2/3. Now, this is where you're going to use your fractions button on your calculator to solve for x. On your calculator, there's a fractions button, right? So all you have to do is type in 16 minus 14 and, well, let me show you how to work. I know this is primary school stuff, but I'm going to show you 14 2/3, right? This is really 14 multiplied by 2/3. What you just do is take the 14 and multiply by the top number. 14 multiplied by 2 is 28/3. So when you take 14 and multiply it by 2/3, once again, the 14 gets multiplied by the top number only, the numerator. 14 by 2 is 28. So it's 16 minus 28 over 3. And you could use your calculator to work this out. You have a fractions button on your calculator. The sharp calculators, it does look like this. Look for that button. It will be 16 minus 28 over 3. All right? 16 minus 28 over 3, or 28/3. When you work that out on your calculator, let me know if you're seeing this. 16, that's the one. 16 minus, let me know if you're getting this as your final answer. 6 2/3 for x. Raise your hands if you're seeing that on your calculator. Now, I know some of you may not know how to use your fractions button on the calculator, right? Let me see if I can load my calculator here. Recording. So if you have a sharp calculator, press 16 minus, press 28, that's in numerator, the ABC button, and 3. That means 28 over 3, and press equal. Bam. 6 2/3. Right? So you guys got to see it 3 times. All right? All right, let's go. All right, so that's how you get it. I hope that helped a little bit, right? So 6 2/3. I know you're all just waiting for the battles, right? All right, so this question here is a little bit, that's a little bit too hard. I want to, oh, good questions. Yes, no. All right, so we will try this question, even though it looks pretty scary. You notice it doesn't have the letters X and Y again. It has S and U. Nothing wrong with that. In maths, it doesn't have to be X and Y. It can be A and B. It can be S and U. Now here, we're going to do this one a little bit different. You're going to choose equation 1, and you're going to make who the subject? You. Because if you had a choice between divided by 24 or 10, I think we all know when we divide by 10, we just always get nice numbers. So guys, this one a little bit different. Choose equation 1 and follow the instructions. Write down the instructions. And because 10 is a much better number than 24 for dividing purposes, make you the subject. Good luck. Doesn't matter if you get it wrong, just try. Right? 2 minutes head start. So far. So we have 24S. Now, some advice, right? S, this look like a 5, right? So when you're writing a S, make sure it look like a S, because if it looks like a 5, you're going to end up mistaking it for a 5, right? I learned that the hard way. So when you're writing a letter S, write it curvy, so it looks like an S, right? You don't want to write it with bad handwriting and it looks like a 5, right? So we decided to make you the subject. So we throw across 24S on the other side, positive 24S. And you're going to get what? Minus 24S. Okay? Well, we still have to make you the subject. This 10 is a secret multiply. Throw across the multiply, and you divide everyone by 10. I know it looks kind of scary. So you end up with u is equal minus 6 divided by 10 is minus 0.6. Nothing wrong with that, right? That's not even a bad decimal. That's a nice decimal. It's not like it's 0.666666666. It's 0.6 and it stops there, right? 24 divided by 10 is 2.4s. You can do that in your head. How much people got this for equation 3? Sign for sign, decimal point for decimal point. No mistakes, Raise your hands. If you made a mistake, look for your mistakes and correct it. Okay? The substitution part wrong, no problem. We could have a 8, the letter S, writing it like a S, plus 5. Look at the U here. We have to replace that U with, I'll use a different color, with what in brackets? With minus 0.6 minus 2.4S. And this whole thing is equal to minus 4.5, right? Look at it here. You still live here. But we throw him away and we replace him with something of equivalent value. So you gotta take your time now. You see everyone in this red brackets multiplied by who? Mr. 5, right? 2 more minutes and then I come in to finish off the question. We have 8S 5 by 0.6. 0.6 multiplied by 5. You're going to get minus 3, right? And 2.4 by 5 is minus 12, and it have a S. I'll do that in slow motion again just now. No. When you multiply a positive by a negative, you get negatives. 5 by 0.6 is 3. You can check it on your calculator. And 5 multiplied by the 2.4 will give you 12. We're solving for S. So keep everything with S on one side. This minus 3, throw him across on the other side. 8S minus 12S is equal to minus 4.5 plus 3. Let's simplify each side. 8 minus 12 is minus 4. S minus 4.5 plus 3 is minus 1.5. You can double check it on the calculator, right? You want to solve for S. The minus 4 is a multiply. Throw it across, you get a divide. Now, you're going to get a decimal here. But I think it's a nice decimal. You're going to get positive 0.375. That's the same thing as 3/8. But you could write 0.375 this time, right? Because the dice not a bad decimal. It doesn't go on forever, like 0.6666666. Leave it as 0.375. Do not round it up off the 0.38. And that's unnecessary, right? But in my primary school, you had to know that decimal anyway. 0.375 is equal to 3/8. That was always an acceptable decimal. So now we know the value of S. Run to equation 3, right? And replace the S with what? 0.375. At least do that for me. Right? Place it here. Look at our letter S here. Throw away that S, right? Throw away that S and replace it. That's a whole. It's S. Sorry, guys. I made a mistake. I know something went wrong there. No, is it? That's our. No, I don't think I made a mistake. That's our. Right, we replaced the S here. Oh, no, it's an agreement problem. Yeah. Right, so let me erase this here. And in brackets, put 0.375. So U is equal to minus 0.6. Let's multiply 2.4 by 0.375. And I'm getting minus 0.9. So how much is minus 0.6 minus 0.9? Anybody getting minus 1.5 for the letter U? When you type in minus 0.6 on your calculator, minus 0.9. In case you're wondering how I got the 0.9, 2.4 multiplied by 0.375. That will give you the 0.9. And that's the end of this one was kind of hard because of the decimals and what